Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Ajnanatimiraandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Iti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I'm very happy and grateful to be amongst all of you today at this Contoyaco. And I was asked to speak on what does it mean to be an instrument in Krishna's plans. Very profound topic originating from the pages of Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna asked Arjuna, you act as my instrument. You act as instrument in my plans, my will. So let's see. What is the logic behind acting as Krishna's instrument? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manah shasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati mama eva amsho jiva loke. All the jivas are my amshas. Krishna says that you are all my little fragmental parts. Krishna is the supreme whole and we are fragmental parts of that whole. Krishna is like an ocean, we are like drops of ocean. Krishna is like big forest fire, we are like sparks of that fire, right? So the logic behind acting as Krishna's instrument is that the part of the whole should be in sync with the overall purpose of the whole. Prabhupada also gives this example. This hand is a part of the body. This finger is a part of the body. So when the body has some kind of itching sensation here, the finger is supposed to go there and then scratch. The body, overall body needs something. So the hands are supposed to serve the body. The legs are supposed to move to a direction where they get something that the body requires. So similarly, as we are all parts of the Lord, we are supposed to be acting in sync with the Lord's will, in sync with the Lord's desires and plans. Further, Krishna also says that Jivera Swarupahai Krishnera Nityadas. Chaitanya Charitamrita says all the jivas are Swarupa, all the jivas have this Swarupa of being a servant of the Lord. So our eternal constitutional position is to be a humble, menial servant of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So the natural function of a servant is to serve. Our identity is fragmental parts of the Lord, amshas of the Lord, and servants of the Lord. Therefore, that identity is best accomplished by acting as instruments in Krishna's will, Krishna's plans, Krishna's desires. So this is the premises. This is the logic behind acting as Krishna's instruments. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna told Krishna that I cannot fight. The primary reason for Arjuna to deny this opportunity to fight or give up this responsibility to fight is his compassion. He felt very compassionate. He felt that how can I kill my own relatives? How can I kill my grandfathers and brothers and cousins and grandsons and my teachers? He felt very compassionate upon them. But Krishna is telling him, you fight and kill them. Who is more compassionate? On one hand, you see Arjuna thinking that all the warriors are his own family members and thus they are not supposed to be killed. And I don't mind forgiving them. I understand that they have done so many mistakes, so many offenses. I'll forgive them, forgive all their offenses. I will not kill them. I don't want kingdom. I'll go out and beg. Arjuna is saying this. So Arjuna was willing to forgive and forget all the offenses done by the Kauravas. But Krishna is instigating him, don't forgive, don't tolerate, kill them, punish them. Who is more compassionate? It seems that Arjuna is more compassionate than Krishna. Some people think like that. Arjuna was such a nice person. Arjuna is very noble hearted, very virtuous, very forgiving. But it is Krishna who spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna and changed his mind and made him kill. Arjuna wanted to be non-violent and Krishna instigated him to be violent. It seems illogical. How can God suggest violence, promote violence, while a warrior, Arjuna, is saying that no, I don't want to be violent? But we need to understand Arjuna's so called compassion was based on bodily plane, and Krishna's uh, desire or plan to punish or even kill the Kauravas is based on transcendental compassion. This is bodily compassion. Arjuna was lamenting for their bodies, as Prabhupada writes in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, initial purports. Lamenting for lamentation, tears for the dress of a drowning person doesn't make sense. When somebody is drowning in an ocean, you can't just be concerned about the expensive suit they are wearing, the expensive watch they are wearing, or the iPhone in their pocket. You can't just be concerned about that. What about the person? Person is more important. Similarly, Arjuna is thinking that, oh, I'll be killing all these soldiers and family members. What will happen to them? You understand that just like dress covers the body, body covers the soul. Dress is just a bodily covering on the soul, right? Uh, sorry, body is a covering, like a dress on the soul. Sorry. So Arjuna was lamenting for the dress, for the body, ignoring the fact that soul is eternal. So Krishna enlightened Arjuna. He said that, please understand, देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जर तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. Dhiras, sober, wise, gentle people will not get bewildered when the body dies. Because even within one lifetime also, the body is constantly changing. It's subjected to various transformations. Body keeps changing. And the soul remains the same. Kaumaram Yavanam Jara, from childhood to boyhood to youthhood to old age to death. It's the same person, the soul, who is traversing through all the stages of the body. Don't lament unnecessarily. And when a miscreant is punished for whatever he has done, it is beneficial for the miscreant. The reason is that when a person who has done a mistake is not punished, he may tend to do the same mistake again. He may think that this mistake is also appropriate. When somebody does a sin, if he doesn't get reaction to that sin, naturally they feel that I can continue on with this kind of mentality, with this kind of behavior. Right in the childhood of Pandavas, Duryodhana and Party tried to kill Bhima with poison, but he was not punished. Immediately Kurukshetra war did not happen, isn't it? So therefore they went ahead and they tried to set fire to this huge mansion in which Pandavas were living. They wanted to burn them alive. Still they did not get punishment. Still Kurukshetra war did not happen. So they were encouraged to do more nefarious activities. They called them for a gambling match. They defeated. Still they did not get punishment. They even tried to disrobe Draupadi. Still they were not punished. And they sent Pandavas on exile for 13 years. Still they did not get punishment, the Kauravas. Finally, after completing their 13 years of Vanavas exile, when Pandavas came back and asked for their kingdom, Duryodhana did not return. When Krishna personally went for a negotiation with Duryodhana, Duryodhana said, forget half the kingdom, I will not give them that much land that can be accommodated under the tip of a needle. How arrogant he was. Still you have to tolerate. You have been tolerating all their nefarious activities since childhood till this point. No more tolerance. You can forgive a person once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 10 times, not forever. Krishna said, stop this forgiving business. Kill them. This is dharma. So Arjuna's compassion was based on a bodily platform and he's getting too sentimental. But Krishna is thinking little more logically. A adharmic person must be punished for the adharma he has done. So we should not regret for it unnecessarily. And Krishna is expecting Arjuna to act as an instrument in his will. My will, what is my will? Why did I appear on this planet? Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chatushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I appeared on this planet to protect the righteous, to punish the vicious, and to establish dharma. And I did it personally. Now I want to do these three things through all of you, through Pandavas. Krishna personally punishes the miscreants and protects the innocent. Sometimes Krishna does the same job through his devotees. Pandavas, you do paritranaya sadhuna, you do vinashaya chatushkruta, and you establish dharma. I will assist you. Devotees assist Krishna in establishing dharma. Sometimes Krishna encourages, inspires, and assists the devotees in establishing dharma. They both are one unit. As we said, every living entity is a part and parcel of Krishna, is an amsha of Krishna, is a servant of Krishna. So they must act together. Master and servant should be in sync with each other. Their moods should match. Their desires and their purposes should match. But although everybody is a servant of Krishna, not many are in this consciousness of being a servant of Krishna. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasau Bhartya. Krishna is the one and only master, everyone else is Bhartya, servant. But how many quote unquote servants have the mood of being a servant? How many souls consider themselves servants of Krishna? How many living beings? Every living being is part and parcel of Krishna, but not every living being is inclined to serve Krishna. That's misfortune. But devotees are inclined to serve Krishna. And devotees should align their mood with the will of Krishna, with the desire of Krishna, with the purpose of Krishna, with the mission of Krishna. Okay, that's the logic here. So Krishna's purpose is paritranaya sadhuna vinayashaya chatushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya. Therefore he appeared. And that should be the purpose of Pandavas also. Pandavas must also participate in this mission of protecting the righteous, punishing the vicious, and establishing dharma. That is our will. Now, Krishna wants to reclaim all the living beings whenever he descends on this planet. And all the devotees are supposed to assist Krishna in that mission. Okay, conditions also are there out. So I must assist Krishna in reclaiming. So Prabhupada, like a warrior, devotee of Krishna, he came to the Western countries and his mission is to assist his Guru and ultimately Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in their mission of reclaiming the conditioned souls. How do you reclaim the conditioned souls? By inspiring them to perform Bhakti Yoga. Follow the path of Krishna consciousness. That's acting as instrument in Krishna's will. Krishna's will is to reclaim the conditioned souls in this material world. Or paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam dharma samsthapana, and devotees are meant to assist Krishna in this mission, being parts and parcels of Krishna. So this is Krishna's expectation from Arjuna. But Arjuna thought, no, I will not kill, they are my family members. So instead of keeping Krishna's purpose in center, Arjuna kept the body in the center. I have a bodily relationship with all these people, my relatives, so I will not kill them. Your body is temporary. Your relationship is temporary. Even if you don't kill them, don't think that they will just go home. Prabhupada says in one lecture. If Arjuna doesn't kill these Kauravas, they will not go home. Someone else will kill them. If nobody kills them, at least they will die naturally. Body is not permanent. Body will become old. Old age and disease and death are common for any material body, however strong and healthy it may be at one point of time. So Arjuna is supposed to assist Krishna in his mission. Therefore he said, Tasmat tvamuttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samriddham mayaivaite nihataha purvameva nimittamatram bhavasavyasachi. Tasmatva uttishta. Therefore, you get up, Arjuna. Tasmatma uttishta. Yashola bhasva. Become popular. Attain fame, reputation. As the hero of Kurukshetra battle. As someone who has killed the miscreants. You become famous. I'll rejoice in your fame. Just like when the child is famous, parents are happy. When the child accomplishes something great, parents become happy. Similarly, when a devotee accomplishes something, Krishna becomes happy. Tasmatvamuttishta yashola bhasva. Jitva shatrun. Conquer your enemies. Bhungshva rajyam samurdham. Bhungshva. Enjoy a prosperous kingdom, flourishing kingdom. Mayaivaite nihataha purvameva. So before Arjuna attains that fame as the hero of Kurukshetra battle, before Arjuna enjoys a flourishing kingdom, what is he supposed to do? Fight, kill, right? Krishna said, I have already killed. I have already killed all these people. The moment they touch this hair of Draupadi, I have decided their death. Mayaivaite nihataha purvameva. Purvameva, earlier only, I have decided all these people should die. What are you supposed to do then? If you have decided their death, if you have already killed them, you did not say, I have taken a decision. Mayaivaite nihataha purvameva. I have already killed them. Decided. Then what am I supposed to do? Nimittamatram bhava savyasachin. You just act as a humble instrument in my will. Nimittamatram means be a humble instrument. I kill them, you manifest their death. Like somebody is opening a big building, ribbon cutting. We have already made the building, you just cut the ribbon, that's all. You don't have to do anything. All the building is made. I'm giving you, when a respectable person comes, you give that honor of inaugurating it. But he did not build it. So many people did so many things, so much sacrifice to make the building. But you are just giving that honor to the person because he's very respectable. You come and inaugurate. Similarly, Krishna did all the homework. Krishna killed all the people in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna, I'm giving you this honor of doing the ribbon cutting. Just 18 days, keep showering arrows. They will die. I have already killed them. You just keep showering arrows. That's all. You don't have to do anything else. So this is how Krishna honors his devotees. Whenever you are stuck, I'm there to help you. You're stuck. You get very emotional. When Abhimanyu is killed, don't worry, I'll support you. I will put my Sudarshan Chakra hiding the sun. I will create an ambience of sunset so that you can kill Jayadratha. Wherever you are stuck, I'm there. I'm there right in front of you, not even behind you. I'm right in front of you, guiding you. I'm the driver. Driver is in front, and the passenger or warrior is behind. See the picture there. So Krishna said, I have done everything, you just be an instrument in my will. Nimittamatram bhava savyasachin. The greatest ecstasy in spiritual life is in acting as a humble, menial servant uh, to assist Krishna in his plans. So, not a blade of grass moves without Krishna's sanction. How can thousands and millions of soldiers die on the battlefield of Kurukshetra without Krishna's sanction? Krishna even exhibited in his Kala Rupa. In the 11th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Krishna manifested two forms. One form is Vishwarupa, universal form, where he showed everything in the universe at one place. Second form is Kala Rupa. He showed all the effects of time at one place. In the future, the outcome of this battle is Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Duryodhan, Dushyasan, Sukuni, all these people will die. That Kala Rupa, the time form of the Lord, has so many heads, and these heads were emanating fire. And all these great warriors in the Kurukshetra battle were entering the mouths, entering into the fire, very ghastly. So we have already killed them. Fine, what am I supposed to do now? I think Nimitta Matra, you find somebody else. I'll go and beg. No, I want you to win glory. The Lord had a specific plan. And Arjuna is supposed to align his mood, his mentality with Krishna's specific plan. So when we are self-centric, when we have our own ways of living life, our own moods, our own needs, our own deeds, which are disconnected from Krishna, then that will not give us ultimate satisfaction of heart. Arjuna was detached. Being detached is good. But we can't be so detached that we become detached from Krishna's plans. Detachment is from selfish enjoyment. Detachment is from material enjoyment, not from Krishna's plan. So, recognizing oneself as an Amsha of Krishna, as a servant of Krishna, one should act as instrument in Krishna's plan and attribute all the credit of one's success and accomplishments to Krishna. Even if Arjuna wins this battle, he will win definitely. That's pre-decided. But who decided it? Who orchestrated it? Krishna. Therefore, Arjuna is supposed to act according to Krishna's will and give the credit of this accomplishment to Krishna. In doing so, Arjuna derives the greatest pleasure. So, Arjuna is addressed by Krishna as Parantapa. Nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. What is Savyasachi? One who can use both hands to release arrows. How? I don't know. I never did it. Right? I never released arrows from even one from one hand, forget two hands. But Arjuna is such a powerful, expert warrior. He has so many military certificates. Arjuna is a celebrity in those days. In the first canto, 15th chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam, Arjuna says, Tadvai dhanustaras rathavaha saratho hayaste soham rathi nrupatayo yata anamanti sarvam kshanena tadabhuta sadisha riktam bhasmam hutam kuhakaradhamivopamushyam. He says that Tadvai dhanushta ishavaha saratho hayaste soham rathi nrupatayo yata anamanti. I am the same Rathi, Maharathi, expert warrior, in front of whom millions of warriors will come and offer obeisances. He is such a great warrior that many other warriors offer pranams to him. You are the best warrior. We are nothing in front of you. His glory is acknowledged by all the bowman in the Aryavarta in those days. That is Arjuna's glory. He is Sabyasachi. He is Parantapa. Parantapa means one who can conquer all enemies. Still, he is Nimitta Matram. What does it mean? Although he is expert, he himself has so many military certificates, he is so accomplished, still he is an instrument in Krishna's plan. Ecstasy of Arjuna is not in his designations as Parantapa and Sabyasachi, not in his identities as Prince of Kuru dynasty, the right hand man or whatever left hand man of the king Yudhishthir Maharaj. His ecstasy is in Nimitta Matra, acting as an instrument in Krishna's plan. So Krishna revealed the consequences of the war by manifesting his Kala Rupa. Still Arjuna had to fight. You see, father knows the answer to a mathematics problem. Child is struggling to solve the mathematics problem. Father knows the answer, but the father doesn't reveal. Father teaches the child, you should. This is how you should solve it. Child can say, why can't you just tell me the answer? I will save my 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Just tell me the answer. 2 plus 3, 5, you tell me. Why you tell me to take 2 fingers here, take 3 fingers here, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So why should I do all this? Just tell me 5, 10, 20, whatever it is. I'll just write and I'll go and play. Will the father agree? No. Child has to know the process. Similarly, although Krishna has decided the outcome of the war, he also showed in a 3D display, not 3D, 4D, 10D, 1000D probably. How many D? I don't know. In such a display, means Arjuna, wherever he saw, he's only seeing that form. Even if you see a 3D movie, you see in one direction. You see somewhere else, you see seats and exit from the theater. But Arjuna, wherever he saw, he's seeing Kala Rupa, he's seeing Vishwarupa. He is not seeing north, south, east, west, top, bottom, no directions. He is seeing it everywhere. So, although Arjuna saw the outcomes of the Kurukshetra battle visually, still he has to work for 18 days to manifest those outcomes. And he has to undergo all the ups and downs during this war. See this drama. It's decided Jayadratha will die. But Jayadratha and all these other warriors will kill Abhimanyu. And Arjuna becomes extremely emotional after hearing Bhagavad Gita. You are the body, you are not the body, you are the soul. Never lament. Dhirastatra na muhyati. When he heard Dhirastatra na muhyati, how can he lament so much when Abhimanyu died? And Krishna had to console him, don't worry, I'll take care. Then Krishna had to put some Sudarshan Chakra. So we need to see a bigger picture also. We can't just be too much caught up in the details of what all happened in this 18 days of war. But we should see Krishna has already decided all of them. He's the Supreme Lord. Many people go through all these details and they blame Krishna. Krishna is very diplomatic. He manipulated the situations. He cheated. He did like this, he did like that. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He has already decided the outcome of the war. But he's allowing Arjuna to undergo some experiences, Bhima and Yudhishthir to undergo certain experiences so that we learn lessons. And all these Pandavas are acting as instruments in Krishna's will. So, despite Arjuna's talents, power, fame, reputation, glory, expertise, his actual glory is in acting as an instrument in Krishna's will. Therefore, we should not overly identify ourselves with our abilities, talents, skills, experience, age, etc. We should identify ourselves as humble instruments in Krishna's will and be grateful for an opportunity to be engaged in some service under the umbrella of Krishna consciousness. Let's be grateful for it. So detachment should be there, but detachment should not disconnect us from Krishna's plans. We should be attached to Krishna's plans. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 21st chapter, Sukadeva Goswami describes a song sung by the gopis. What is that song? The song just glorifies Krishna's flute. The pastimes of Krishna's flute. How Krishna's flute is mesmerizing all the residents of Vrindavan. How the flute song of Krishna is attracting the attention of even devatas flying in the sky, even the animals and birds and gopas and gopis and cows and calves in Vrindavan, even trees and rivers are getting attracted to Krishna's flute song. So very beautiful. Barhapidam natavarapuh karnayor karnikaram bibharadvasah kanaka kapisham vaijayantim chamalam randharan venoradhara sudhaya purayan gopavrinde vrindaranyam swapadaravanam pravishat gita kirti. Jai Shri Shri Gauranga Darshan. Krishna is filling the nectar of his lips into the holes of his flute and creating mesmerizing ragas, melodies, and those melodies are moistening the eyes of those who hear this flute song. The flute is dry, a dry piece of wood. Although it is dry, it can moisten the eyes of people who are hearing. They're in ecstasy. The flute has so many holes. It's hollow stick with so many holes in it. Something that is having holes cannot hold anything. But Krishna's flute is holding so many ragas. If Krishna can empower a dry piece of wood that has so many holes to perform such inconceivable pastimes to attract the attention of so many residents of the universe, why can't Krishna empower a humble devotee who is willing to act as an instrument in Krishna's will? So the flute is glorious because the flute acted as instrument in Krishna's will. We may think, is Krishna using me? I have to act as his instrument. Menial servant, humble menial servant. What's this? Too much of expectation. Actually, in being so, we are being glorious. The real glory of anything or any person is in acting as instrument in Krishna's will. The flute has become so glorious, a musical instrument. When you completely act in accordance with Krishna's will, completely in sync with Krishna's desires as communicated to us through Guru and Vaishnavas, then we are actually fulfilling the real purpose of our life. We are actually deriving greatest satisfaction. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktira dhokshaji. The paro dharma, the supreme duty, the supreme status of any living being is to render devotional service unto Krishna. And if you do it without any expectations in return, ahituki, without any breaks or inconsistencies or irregularities, apratihata, then the atma suprasidati, then our heart is completely satisfied. Satisfaction of heart is dependent on how selflessly and seamlessly we render service to Krishna, identifying ourselves as instruments in Krishna's will, not independent performers, independent accomplishers or achievers. We are dependent servants of Krishna, dependent instruments in Krishna's plans and Krishna's will. And greatest ecstasy in Krishna consciousness is in identifying oneself as instrument. You see, Yashoda Mata tied Krishna with a rope to a wooden grinding mortar. The mortar is insignificant, very small. It is significant, of course, because Yashoda Mata used that to bind Krishna, but insignificant in the sense that the purpose of that mortar is to grind some spices, very small household mortar, and rope also is very small silken rope. But Krishna used these two small instruments, rope and mortar, to uproot Yamalarjuna trees and cause them to collapse. So Yamalarjuna trees are so tall, so huge. Maybe you can manufacture hundreds or thousands of wooden grinding mortars from the wood which is available in this Yamalarjuna trees. I often say that if the rope is stronger than the mortar should break. The mortar is stronger than the rope, rope should break. In either case, tree should not collapse. But rope did not break, mortar did not break, but the trees were uprooted. How Krishna empowered the rope, Krishna empowered the mortar with the ability, with the strength to uproot Yamalarjuna trees without they themselves getting damaged in any way. Because they were willing to act as instruments in Krishna's plan. What was Krishna's plan here? Krishna wanted to liberate Nalakuvar and Manigriva. Why? Because Krishna wanted to act as an instrument in Narada Muni's will. See the glory of acting as an instrument in Krishna's will. If you act as an instrument in Krishna's will, Krishna will act as instrument in your will. Narada Muni saw Nalakuvara and Manigriva just bathing naked in a water reservoir in Mandakini Ganga along with some women. He felt disgusted there in a holy place. They should behave themselves. And even when a saintly person is just passing by, they did not have that common sense to immediately get up and cover their bodies. They're continuing like they're drinking wine. Narada Muni thought they are living such a degraded life. Let me curse them to become Yamalarjuna trees. Where? In Nanda Maharaja's courtyard, not in any other places, not in some solitary desert. In Nanda Maharaja's courtyard, in Vrindavan, so that they can witness all the childhood pastimes of Krishna and be purified and glorified. That is Narada Muni's plan. So Krishna understood Narada Muni's plan and he acted as an instrument in Narada Muni's plan. What did he do? Actually, a very sweet, loving exchange is happening between Krishna and his beloved mother, Yashoda Mata. So, in such a wonderful Vatsalya exchange, Vatsalya pastime, where are these Kuvera sons coming into picture? Why Krishna had to divert his attention to Nalakoir and Manigriva when he's having some kind of Leela with Yashoda Mata and Vrajavasis? Narada Muni wanted. कुबेरात्मजौ बद्धमूर्तैव यद्वत् त्वया मोचितौ भक्तिभाजौ कृतौ च तथा प्रेमभक्तिं स्वकाम्ये प्रयच्छ नमो शीघ्रहो मेस्ति दामोदरे बद्धमूर्तैव यद्वत्. Krishna was acting as an instrument in Yashoda Mata's will. What was her will? To bind Krishna, to arrest Krishna, to not give any independence to Krishna to go out and search for butter and steal butter. Her will is to bind Krishna. And Narada Muni's will is that Krishna liberates Yamalarjuna trees. So Narada Muni, Krishna acted as instrument in the will of Yashoda Mata and also in the will of Narada Muni, but he kept aside his will. His will is to play. He kept aside his will or ichha, his desire to play and steal butter, and he gave importance to Narada Muni's will and Yashoda Mata's will, and he is still bound. Although he liberated Yamalarjuna trees, he was bound. The liberator is in bondage. The Mukti Pradata is Baddha. Baddha Murta Vayadva. Baddha Murti, but Tvaya Mochitav. He can do Vimochan, but he cannot do Vimochan of himself. He is a Baddha Murti. So that is the glory of acting as an instrument in Krishna's will. Sometime back we asked this question, and a devotee questions, why is Krishna expecting this from me? Why should I act as his humble, menial servant and instrument? If you do so, see what Krishna does. See how much Krishna reciprocates with us. That is love. Love means to act in accordance with the will and the mood of the beloved. A devotee acts according to the mood of his beloved Lord Krishna, and Krishna acts in accordance with the mood of his beloved devotee. That is love. This is love. This is not control. I'm an instrument in somebody's will. Why is he controlling me? Why is he not giving me freedom? No, it's not control. This is care. This is love. This is affection. So let's go ahead. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring the South India. Then he met Ramananda Rai on the bank of Godavari. There, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Rai, can you please describe Radha Krishna Tattva? And the conversation became very exciting. And they started discussing about Radha Krishna Leelas. And Mahaprabhu started appreciating Ramananda Rai. You are the best authority as far as Radha Krishna pastimes and Leela are concerned, Tattva is concerned, you are the greatest authority. And you know what Ramananda Rai said? Mora jihva veena yantra tu bhi veena dhari. Tomar mane yehi uthe tahai uchari. Mora jihva veena yantra. My tongue is just a stringed instrument, veena. Tu bhi veena dhari. Veena, does it have any independence to produce ragas on its own, melodies on its own? There's a veena dhari, a player. He has to play. Accordingly, the veena will, whether it's sometimes exciting melody, sometimes very tragic melody, sometimes very slow, soothing, sometimes very fast. So every melody has its own feel. So according to the mood of the veena player, veena will produce sound. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are the veena dhari. You are the player of veena. I am just a veena in your hand. Whatever you make me speak, I am speaking. So Ramananda spoke very authoritatively, conclusively, categorically, with absolutely no ambiguity, Radha Krishna Tattva, but is giving all the credit to Mahaprabhu, and he says, I'm an instrument in your will. You wanted Radha Krishna Leela and Tattva to be manifest from my mouth, it's happening. I don't know anything. Then he also said, Raya kahe, ami nata tumi sutradhar, ye mata nacha wo taiche chahi nachi bar. Raya kahe, ami nata, I'm just an actor. Tumi sutradhar. He's speaking about puppet show. So olden days, when there were no animation movies, there were puppet shows. So a string puller will just pull strings like this. There are strings tied to every finger, so they just move like this. This hand is moving Narsimhadev. This hand is moving Prahlad. Okay, so they will just pull strings like this. So you are the string puller. You are the wire puller. I am just a puppet. You are the director. I am an actor. Ami nata tumi sutradhar. Sutradhar means one who is holding the wire. Then yehi mata nachavat taiche chahi nachibar. Very important point here. When you are acting as an instrument, there are two types of instruments: animate and inanimate, lifeless and live instruments. When a wire puller is just pulling the wires, the puppet has no independence. Puppet is not a living thing, so puppet has to dance, right? Veena is an instrument, and veena has to produce melodies as per the mood of the veena player. But a human being, a living being, a devotee has some desires, has some independence, has some intelligence, has some common sense, has some preference. How can you equate a living being to a normal thing? Now there's a mic here, or there's a remote here. So when I have to go to the next slide, I press this. If I go to previous slide, I press this. It has no independence. Whatever way I press, that slide only it has to show. But imagine it has life. It has its own tastes and preferences and desires. So why would this act as instrument in my will? That's where voluntary spirit comes into picture. Our Ramananda Rai said, Yehi mata nachao taiche chahi nachibar. The way you make me dance, I will dance, is one statement. The way you make me dance, I want to dance, is another statement. I have a desire. I want to voluntarily engage my desires in relationship with your desires. I desire to dance according to your desires, your will. Not that I am being forced to, I am being obliged, I am being threatened. If you don't act according to my will, I will kill you, I will send you to hell. I like. This is not the way the Lord functions or devotees function. The Lord gives us knowledge and independence. If you want, you act. And devotee says, no, I want to act. So that is the voluntary spirit the devotee uses. So devotee is acting as an instrument in the Lord's service is not a ritual, it's not an obligation, but it's a voluntary, conscious earnest desire to serve him with the very strength that the Lord has bestowed upon the devotee. So we need to utilize our ability to desire, our free will, our minute independence to act as Krishna's instrument, not forcefully, but voluntarily. Krishna doesn't like forceful love. Even we don't like forceful love. If you are forced to serve me or help me or assist me in some way, I won't be comfortable to accept that service. But if you voluntarily want to help, then I may be a little more comfortable. So even if like we don't want to receive any forced service, how can we expect Krishna to receive forced service? So Krishna will never force us. Even ordinary hypnotists in this material world, they can manipulate the minds of people and make them do what they want them to do. Can't Krishna do hypnotism? Earlier I had this great doubt. Why can't Krishna change the minds of everybody and make everyone pure devotees? Why he has to give independence? Why he has to allow the conditioned soul to engage with material modes and do all kinds of material activities and do sense gratification and fall down like this? If Krishna like this, Krishna has all ability, he's omnipotent, he's omnipresent, he has all energies. If he wants, he can just, within the fraction of a second, he can change all our minds and make us pure devotees. You know what would be the consequence then? We will become like machines. A machine has no independence. Like this has no independence. So a machine has no independence to act according to one's own desire, but a living entity has. If a living entity voluntarily chooses to engage one's abilities in Krishna's service, then such a service is acceptable to Krishna. But if we are hypnotized or manipulated or forced to serve him, he's not. It's like my mechanical service. So it may help me, this may help me, this may help me, but I cannot have any emotional satisfaction with all this. None of the instruments or machines or gadgets that we have can satisfy our emotions. They may give us certain physical comforts, but they cannot satisfy our emotions. Emotions are satisfied only by a living person, a living being. And Krishna is a living being. And all the parts and parcels of Krishna, all of us, we are also living beings. When one living being emotionally connects with another living being and voluntarily chooses to serve him or love him, then the other living beings' emotions are satisfied. They feel happiness at heart. It's not a body to body connection, it is heart to heart connection. So, no forceful love. He gives us knowledge, he gives us some independence, and he tells us, you only choose. You want to serve me? Serve me. I'm happy to receive service. You don't want to serve me? Fine. My Maya is there to handle you with care. Okay? So my Maya will take care. I don't have to do anything. So this is how, it's up to us how to decide. You want a proof? At the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said. By the way, Krishna never forced Arjuna to fight. He chastised initially, he scolded initially, just to give him good knowledge. But ultimately he said, you decide. Whatever you want, you do. My plan is fixed. I will act according to my plan. If you want to assist me in my plan, you are welcome. If you don't want, fine. Entire Maya is there. I have created Maya for all that. He said, Arjuna said, Nashto moha smritirlabdha tvat prasadan mayachyuta sthitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. Karishye vachanam tava. Arjuna chose to act as Krishna's instrument. Don't think that Krishna forced Arjuna to fight in this war. Arjuna chose to act as according to Krishna's will. He said, Karishye vachanam tava. I will act according to your words, your instructions, your expectations. You want me to assist you in paritranaya sadhuna vinayasaya dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya? You want me to win glory? Jitva shatrun bhangshva rajyam samurdham? I will do it. I have no interest in rajya. But you are telling me, Bhungshwa Rajyam Samardham. Okay, I will accept kingdom. I have no mood to conquer Shatrus, but you are saying Jitva Shatru. Fine, I will conquer my enemies. I don't want kingdom. I don't want victory. He already declared it in the initial chapters. Even later also, Arjuna had no attachment to any kingdom. They're happy in the forests also. They're happy in the palaces also. They are happy anywhere doing some service to Krishna. The devotee is always happy. Narayana paras sarve nakutaschana vibhyati swarga apavarga narakeshu api tulyartha darshana. Narayana paras sarve, those who are Narayana para, those who are completely dedicated to Lord Narayana are nakutaschana vibhyati, they are never fearful anywhere. You send them to Swargalok, you send them to Narakalok, you give them moksha, doesn't matter. We'll chant Hare Krishna wherever we are. We'll serve Krishna. So, you know what Krishna said? Iti te jnanamakyatam guhyat guhyataram maya vimrishyetadasheshena yithechasi tatha kuru. I gave you confidential knowledge. I spoke to you karma yoga, gnana yoga, dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga, the three material modes, so many other topics, kala, karma, jiva, prakriti. I spoke so many topics to you in Bhagavad Gita. Vimrishyetadasheshena. You deliberate upon them, you analyze them, and act according to your decision. He said, Yathechasi tatha kuru. Whatever appeals to you, whatever you think is appropriate, you do that. That's all. Yathechasi tatha kuru. No more hypnotism. No hypnotism at all. So Krishna said in the 63rd shloka, Yathechasi tatha kuru. Arjuna said in the 73rd shloka that Karishye vachanam tava. Krishna never forced Arjuna. Krishna respects our autonomy. Krishna gives us that autonomy and Krishna respects that autonomy. Krishna never interferes with our minute independence. And a devotee uses one's minute independence to act according to Krishna's will without a sense of obligation or force. Krishna is not forcing me. I want to serve him. My voluntary spirit is to serve him. Chahi nachi bar, karishye vachanam tava. What other proofs you want? So, this is the life of a devotee. To be enlightened and empowered by Krishna and willingly act according to his plans as an instrument and appropriately use one's minute independence. If we act against Krishna's plans whimsically, then we are misusing our minute independence. You see, Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, Yaha shastra vidhimutsrujya vartate kamakarataha na sasiddhima vapnoti na sukham na parangati. Whoever gives up shastra vidhis, vartate kamakarataha, whoever behaves whimsically, nasa siddhima vapnoti, they cannot get any siddhi, they cannot get any, what to say, perfection, either in this life or in the next life, no happiness, no sukham, na parangatim, no higher destinations. So Shastras are instructions of Krishna. So if we act against Krishna's will, these are the consequences. If we act according to Krishna's will, these are the consequences. You choose, no force, like that. If you face the sun when he's rising nicely in the morning, you will see light. But if you choose to turn your face away from sun, you will see darkness, shadow. You want to see shadow or sunlight? You want to see light or darkness? Up to you. Sun does not force us. But if you turn your face away, you'll have to see the shadow. That's very clear. If you turn face towards the sun, you can see brightness. But there's no force. You choose. So Krishna gives us the choice. So even if a devotee manages to act according to Krishna's will and accomplish Krishna's mission, there is no pride in one's capabilities. And there is no discouragement with one's disabilities. Sometimes you may not be able to act according to Krishna's will. Because Krishna's will is different for different devotees. Means Krishna doesn't expect every devotee to do the same service. He gives different devotees to different services to different devotees. Krishna expected Arjuna to fight, not Sudama to fight. Sudama, just give me poha, sufficient. Sudama, no, I will not give. No, you should give. Krishna forcefully took Sudama's poha Krishna never forcefully engaged him. Come on, Kurukshetra battle. Come, you should fight. No, I don't want to fight. You should come. Wear an armor. I cannot bear the weight of armor also. I am so thin. Can't you understand? No, you have to. I will empower you. So Krishna engages different devotees in different ways. Everybody need not do every single service. Some devotees can do book distribution. Some devotees can sing. Some devotees can speak. Some devotees can worship the deities. Some devotees can collect funds. Some devotees can make temples. Uh, some devotees can dress the deity of Srila Prabhupada. Some devotees can make these beautiful garlands. So different devotees can do different services, and we cannot have a stereotyped understanding that every devotee should do this only. Something common is there. Everyone should do Shravanam Kirtanam, that is clear. So some basic devotional practices are common for everybody. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam. But the specifics of service will vary according to their specific talents and abilities and the way Krishna has empowered them. Shravanam Kirtanam is mentioned, but garland making and deity worship are not mentioned. Deity worship is mentioned as a principle. But what aspect in deity worship will a particular devotee will pick up depends on the somebody is good at cooking, somebody is good at making garlands, somebody is good at tying turban, somebody is good at uh, stitching dresses. So you would pick up something. The principle is serve the Lord. What kind of service depends on your talents, and talents are given by Krishna. Krishna went to Sudama, florist. He said, "Give me garlands." Krishna went to Kubja. He said, "Give me cosmetics." Krishna did not go to Sudama and ask, "Give me cosmetics, sandalwood bulb. I won't have one." Krishna did not ask garlands from Kubja. So different devotees can offer different services, and no pride in one's capabilities. A devotee may be able to do a particular service expertly, but if they go into some other service, they will fail. So therefore, don't be proud. We don't have to be proud of our abilities. It is Krishna's ability that came to us. Krishna has empowered in a certain way, and he gave certain ability so that we use that ability in Krishna's seva. We should be grateful for that opportunity. That's all. Once the service is over, Krishna will take away the ability also. By the way, Vanchito ham maharaja hirina bandhurupina yena me apahrutam tejo deva vismapanam mahat. Arjuna is such a celebrated warrior. He could mesmerize even great devatas like Shiva and Indra also with his military capabilities. He could win the battlefield of Kurukshetra also. But after the battle was over, he could not even defeat some cowheads. He could not even protect Krishna's queens. So, same Arjuna, where did this capability go? Prabhupada writes that all this capacity or talents or skills or powers that a devotee has are given by Krishna to the devotee so that the powers can be used in Krishna's service, and once the service is over, powers are taken away. Because the powers are not required to go back to Godhead. And there's not much connection between these powers and love of God. To love the Lord, you need a heart, not arrows. So, whatever talents or skills or resources or money or manpower or influence or fame that we have, whatever opulences we have, some devotees are famous. They're very attention attracting. They use that in Krishna service. Some devotees have a very sweet voice. They use that in Krishna service by singing kirtans. Some devotees are very artistic. Dressing the deities nice. Some devotees are expert in money handling. They take care of accounts. Some devotees are expert in management, managing resources. You give them 10 people, they will effectively engage everybody in their services. They will make a plan with Avyartha Kalapam as the main motto. Right? They will engage everybody effectively. Some people, you give them 10 volunteers. What to do with these 10 volunteers? Come, chant Hare Krishna. But some people, they're expert in management, they can engage them in services also. Everything is required. Everybody's talents have some scope under the umbrella of Krishna consciousness. So we need not become proud of our capabilities. At the same time, when we don't have a specific capacity, We don't have to be envious or insecure or discouraged, right? So sincerely try to use God-given, Krishna-given abilities in his service, and realize that all accomplishments are due to Krishna's sanction, Krishna's will. Correct. Krishna is giving his darshan when we said this point. Hare Krishna. So this consciousness of acting as instruments in Krishna's will definitely make us humble and contribute in Krishna's service in meaningful ways. Whatever we have is coming from Krishna. Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, tell me, on whose strength are you so fearless? Prahlad said, the source of my strength is the source of your strength also. Understand that. Vishnu, I always hated him, and he's empowering you. I can understand that much at least. He's empowering me also. Somebody asked, a reporter asked Prabhupada, so Krishna is your God? Prabhupada said, Krishna is your God also. So a devotee is completely convinced. He can emphatically declare that Krishna is the source of everybody's strength. How people use that strength, God-given strength, is according to their independence. But that independence is given by Krishna, strength is also given by Krishna. Krishna sanctions some independence, minute independence, in accordance with our previous activities. Just like father gives some pocket money to the child. When the child uses it to smoke cigarettes, what will the father do? Cut pocket money. If the child is nicely accumulating that money and purchases a very beautiful gift for mother's birthday, father will be impressed. Wow, he's not wasting money. He's using that money to express love to his mother. Let me increase his pocket money. He knows how to use it. Similarly, the Supreme Father Krishna also gives us some independence. If we use it properly, appropriately, we will expand the independence. If we misuse it, he will restrict the independence. He will send us to lower species. In the lower species, we have limited independence. In the higher species, we have more independence. The more independence we have, the more we should be cautious to use it properly in Krishna's service. The more resources we have, we need to use them properly in Krishna's service. The more is our position in the hierarchy, the greater the position is in hierarchy, the more careful we need to be. When there's a ladder, you fall from the second step of the ladder, you may balance yourself and nothing much happens. When you go on the 10th step, you become little confident. I think I can also climb. Confidence. 15th step, confidence becomes overconfidence. When you go to the 20th step, overconfidence becomes pride, arrogance. Go to the 25th step, that pride and arrogance will become inattentiveness. I can do it. I can easily do it. So when you become inattentive in that position, from the 25th or 30th step, if you fall down, you'll break your head or leg. Falling down from third step is not a big deal. Falling from 30th step is more dangerous. Similarly, as we progress in bhakti, as we are having a better position in the hierarchy, as we are becoming more popular or prominent, we need to protect our consciousness more while acting as instruments in Krishna's will. While acting as instruments in Krishna's will, Maya can distract us thinking that you are an accomplisher, you are an achiever, you are an independent performer, you are great, you are this, you are that. That will get into our head, will not bend our head. That's the issue. So, understand that the source of the powers is Krishna, and utility. We need to utilize the powers in Krishna's service. Kunti Maharani said, Krishna, where are you going? My sons need your assistance. Don't leave Hastinapur. Krishna said, your sons are very accomplished. Bhima, Arjun, they are great warriors. Then Kunti Mata said, my sons are like senses and you are like soul. What is the use of senses without soul? Similarly, we may accomplish so many things, but if we don't connect them to Krishna, there's a problem. So, Yudhishthira Maharaj said to Bhima, Yasman no sampado rajyam daraha pranaha kulam prajaha Asan sapatna vijayo lokasya yadanugrahat. Yasmannaha sampado rajyam. Our wealth, our kingdom. Dara, our wives. Prana, our lives. Kulam, our great dynasty. Praja, our citizens. Everything that we have is only by the grace of Krishna. Yad anugrahat, only by the mercy of Krishna, we have all these opulences. Who said this? Yudhishthir Maharaj is saying this. So Prabhupada writes, prosperity earned by one's personal endeavor also depends on the mercy of the Lord. You may do parishrama, you may endeavor to become prosperous, but that also depends on the Lord. Personal labor must be there in addition to the Lord's benediction. Then Arjuna starts speaking. He says that he gives some 10 points. I could win the hand of Draupadi because of Krishna's grace. And we were protected from the wrath of Durvasa Muni in our Vanavas because of Krishna's grace. Bhima could kill Jarasandha because of Krishna's grace. And I could kill Nivata Kavacha demons by Krishna's grace. We regained all the cows of Virata Maharaj by defeating all the Kurus by Krishna's grace. Also, I could enter heaven and impress Indra by Krishna's grace. We could get Maya Sabha from Mayadanav by Krishna's grace. We could win the battle of Kurukshetra only by Krishna's grace. So Pandavas, such well accomplished warriors, they are convinced that whatever they are and whatever they have is only by Krishna's grace. So we are nothing. Nimitta matram bhava samvisacham. And Ramanand Rai, Kaviraj Goswami describes, Sancharya Rama Bhida Bhakta Meghe Swabhakti Siddhanta Jayamritani Gaurabhiretair Amunavatirdaha Tadnatvarata Prayati. He said, Kaviraj Goswami said, that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like an ocean. And Ramananda is like a cloud. Just like cloud gets some water from the ocean, Ramananda is equipped with all the conclusive descriptions of Bhakti and Radha Krishna Tattva from the ocean of Lord Chaitanya. Gaurabdhi. Gauranga is like an ocean of Bhakti Siddhantas. And Rama is like Megha. Ramananda is like a Megha. He is like cloud. So cloud is getting water from the ocean and cloud is raining that water back on the ocean. See? Similarly, devotees get powers from Krishna, talents from Krishna, resources from Krishna, intelligence from Krishna, and utilize all that in Krishna's service back. So this is the purpose of devotee's life. So yeah, this I already described. Many more point. How much time do we have? Lot of time. Very good. So sometimes the Lord may ask us to act as an instrument in a very quote unquote demeaning way, apparently, from a material perspective. He may not give us very great prominence in a scene, just like a drama director or movie director may not be able to give great screen presence to every single actor there. The hero may have more screen presence, or some prominent few characters may have more screen presence. But some people, they just come and go once in a while. They may not be having great screen presence or so many words, dialogues to speak. So the devotees are okay with it. Okay, no problem. Now, Hanumanji was a great personality. What he has done for Lord Ramachandra in Ramayana was no less than a miracle. It was Hanumanji who jumped across the Lanka ocean, found Sita Devi, consoled her, pacified her, reassured her, and also he met Ravana, gave him a warning, threatened him, burnt the entire Lanka, came back and gave that news to Lord Ramachandra. Out of different parts of Ramayana, Balakanda, Ayodhyakanda, Aranyakanda, etc., Sundarakanda is considered most Sundar, most beautiful. Sundare Kimna Sundaram. What in Sundarakanda, which aspect of Sundarakanda is not Sundar, you tell me. Acharya's right lines. In Sundarakanda, everything is Sundar, everything is beautiful. Sundare Sundaro Ramaha, Sundare Sundari Sita, Sundare Sundaro Kapihi, Sundare Kimna Sundaram. Everything is Sundar in Sundarakanda. So Hanumanji was given such great prominence. Of all the episodes in Ramayana, Sundarakanda is the most exciting episode, most beautiful. In that Sundarakanda section, Ram is not there in the picture. Ram is sitting in Kishkindakanda. Sundarakanda entire from beginning to end, it's Hanumanji who is glorified. He has maximum screen presence in Sundarakanda. That he's the hero there. Well, Ram is just waiting for Hanuman to come. And in Dhakanda, Ram again came back. So, in the most beautiful episode of Ramayana, Ram is highlighting Hanuman and he's taking a low profile. When Ram had to cross the Lanka ocean, he had to make a bridge. But when Hanumanji had to cross the Lanka ocean, he just jumped. You see? Of course, Ram is the supreme personality of Godhead. He can jump also. He can disappear from here and appear there also. He's already there also in Lanka. He's there in the hearts of all the living beings. He's everywhere. But to give more prominence to his dear devotee, he took a low profile in Sundarakanda section. So Hanumanji is given such a great prominence in Ramayana. But when it came to Mahabharata, what was the role given to Hanuman? Hanuman, just sit on Arjuna's flag and keep blessing him. And whenever Bhima roars, you join him and you also roar. Why roaring? Once you roar, how can you restrain yourself from fighting? Roar is just the beginning of fight. He says, you just roar and don't fight. Just bless. That's the role. The role is to roar. That's the role given by Krishna to Hanumanji. You don't have to fight. If Hanumanji comes on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, this Duryodhan, Dushyasan, Karna, Shakuni, all these people, he will just make them chutney like this. Right? In just one, they are not having so many mantra shaktis and all that. They are like quite inferior demoniac people compared to the demons that Hanumanji encountered. He is coming from Treta Yuga, warrior. They are Dwapara Yuga warriors. Dwapara Yuga close to Kali Yuga. What power did Duryodhan have in front of Hanumanji? Right? Even Bhima is considered very smaller warrior compared to Hanumanji. Both are Vayuputras, but in power, Hanumanji is definitely much better. So, but Hanumanji was not given great role. Just sit and roar here, don't do anything. Hanumanji did not say, 18 days battle, I'll finish in 18 seconds. Just launch me. No, I want it 18 days. I want it for 18 days. You just sit there. So sometimes we are given very small roles, not very big roles. But we need to understand whatever Krishna expects from me, let me do that. If every actor in a movie fights for maximum screen presence, who is there on the screen? You'll only see fight from beginning to end. So whatever is expected of a devotee will do that in the service of the Lord, and rest of the time chant Hare Krishna. We have enough engagement, by the way. We have 12 cantos of Bhagavata. And we have 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. We have such great literature given by the Acharyas. Let's go and study. If you don't have a specific service, let's go and study. Read all these literatures. Or there are so many souls wandering without Krishna. Catch anybody and preach. Start speaking about Krishna to such souls. And we have not been chanting since time immemorial. Somehow by Prabhupada's grace, we began chanting maybe a few years back or a few decades back. So many rounds are left. Let's go and chant Hare Krishna. You see? So we have enough engagement in Shravanam and Kirtanam. We should not feel disappointed that I was not made HOD of that department. I'm not a manager. I'm not given this position. I'm not given that position. So just there is enough scope to render service to Krishna and be absorbed in Krishna consciousness through Shravanam and Kirtanam. So sometimes the Lord puts some devotee in a very prominent position while keeping other devotees in simpler positions. Both are devotees. Does it mean that the Lord loves Arjun more than Hanuman? Both are devotees. Arjun is a devotee, great example of Sakhya, and Hanumanji is a great example of Dasya. The Lord loves both of them. But still, the Lord gave more prominence to Hanumanji in Ramayana and more prominence to Arjuna and Bhima in Mahabharata. Right? Sometimes the Lord may ask a devotee to perform humble tasks, and a true devotee just aligns with the will of the Lord. This is alignment with the will of the Lord. So our ability to serve the Lord depends on the Lord's sanction, and we should humbly accept the Lord's sanction. It's not my capability to do it. It's not just ability to do a service, it's the eligibility to do the service. Abilities everybody may have, but eligibility only those who have given, those who are authorized will have. Arti anybody can do. So you can just wave some agarbatti, some flowers and all. But there are some devotees who are authorized to allocate services. Okay, today you do arti, tomorrow you do arti, tomorrow you do arti. So different devotees are given different services. They're given different slots to perform their service. So that's the authorization, right? So we need to accept the Lord's sanction. Next, Bhishma. What role? At least Hanumanji was given a simpler role, positive role. In Kurukshetra war, Hanumanji was on the side of Dharma, encouraging and blessing Bhima and Arjun. But what role did Bhishma get? He's Mahajan. Bhishma is a Mahajan. But Bhishma got the role of fighting against Pandavas on the side of Duryodhan. You see what kind of role Krishna wanted to. However powerful or accomplished or talented or experienced you may be, if you take the side of adharma, you will have to be defeated, even by a lesser warrior, younger one. So Bhishma, although such a celebrated warrior, he was defeated in the hands of Arjuna because he took the side of adharma. Although his body was fighting on the side of adharma, Bhishma's heart is very much with Krishna. That's why Krishna came in front of Bhishma at the time of his departure. And Bhishma is offering prayers. Iti mati rupa kalpita vitrishna bhagavati sattvata pungave vibhumi. Let my mind completely focus on that sattvata pungava Krishna. Let my mind be distracted or withdrawn from all other kinds of thoughts and desires and focus only on Krishna. Bhishma is offering this prayer. And when Yudhishthira Maharaj became very morose, sad that he became the cause of the death of so many millions of warriors on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna could not console him. Dhaumya could not console him. Vyasadeva could not console him. But the credit of counseling Yudhishthira Maharaj was given to Bhishma in the presence of Krishna. To give a Bhagavatam class in front of Krishna is not a small thing. In front of Jamadagni, Vyasadeva, Sukadeva Goswami, Parashuram, all the universal celebrities, Brahmarshis, Rajarshis, Devarshis were assembled. And Bhishma is lying on the bed of arrows and giving this class to Pandavas, to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So Krishna highlighted him in such a way. But actually, what was the role given to him? Fight on behalf of Duryodhana. You see, sometimes Krishna may put us in such awkward situations also. So when we are little egocentric or self-centric, we only aspire or desire for comfort for our ego. My ego should be comfortable. My body should be comfortable. My mind should be comfortable. That's how Krishna should engage me as an instrument in his will. Not necessary. Krishna may not oblige with this expectation, by the way. Keep aside your ego. Keep aside your intellectual gymnastics or concoctions. keep aside all your mental concoctions and self-centric desires. Act according to my will. So this is how Krishna utilizes his devotees as instruments. And when we act as an instrument in Krishna's will, our words are equal to Krishna's words. Not that we want to become Krishna, but a sincere representative of Krishna who is acting as instrument in Krishna's will. When such a sincere devotee speaks, though his words are as good as Krishna's words. So you see, representative, right? Whatever the representative says, those words are given as much value as the main personality is saying. I am representative. So beautiful verse from the last canto of Bhagavatam. Kasmayena vibhasito yamatulo jnana pradipah pura tadrupena cha naradaya punaye krishnaya tadrupena योगीन्द्राय तदात्मनाथ भगवद्राताय कारुण्यत तत्शुद्धं विमलं विशोकममृतं सत्यं परं धीमहि kasmayena vibhasito yamatulo. Right in the beginning of the creation, Lord Krishna taught Bhagavatam to Brahma. And in the form of Brahma, Krishna taught that same Bhagavatam to Narada Muni. Kasmayena vibhasito yamatulo jnana pradipah pura. And he says that tadrupena, in the form of Brahma, tadrupena means in the form of Brahma, it is Krishna who taught Bhagavatam to Narada. Tadrupena cha naradaya munaye krishnaya tadrupena. In the form of Narada Muni, Krishna only taught Bhagavatam to Krishnaya, means Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. Yogindraya tadatmanata bhagavad rataya karunyata. In the form of Vyasadev, Krishna only taught Bhagavatam to Sukadeva Goswami. In the form of Sukadeva Goswami, Krishna only spoke Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. All these personalities who are speaking Bhagavatam, they are representing Krishna's will. They are acting as instruments in Krishna's will. They are transparently transmitting the transcendental teachings of Krishna for our transformation and to stop our tribulations. So they are representatives. See, Brahma. In this glorious parampara, whether Krishna speaks or Brahma speaks or Narada Muni speaks or Vyasadeva speaks or Sukadeva Goswami speaks or Sutta Goswami speaks, it is Krishna who is speaking. And exactly, transparently transmitting Krishna's teachings and Krishna's will. So this is the glory of being an instrument in Krishna's will. So next. And Sukadeva Goswami, how much he is empowered by Bhagavatam? Yahasvanubhavamakila shrutisarvekam adhyatma deepamatitirashatantamondham samsarinam karunayaha purana guhyam tam vyasa sonamupayami gurum munina. Yahasvanubhavamakila shrutisarvekam. He has completely assimilated and absorbed the essence of all Shruti scriptures, and he spoke Bhagavatam out of deep compassion. And his Guru Vyasadev and his Paramaguru Narada Muni, they are sitting in his class and hearing Bhagavatam as if they are hearing for the first time. You see, this is how Sukadeva Goswami is empowered by Srimad Bhagavatam, by Krishna in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the glory of an instrument in Krishna's will. Next. An instrument is a representative. A teacher of Bhagavatam is a representative of Krishna, not a replacement for Krishna. When Krishna desires to inspire somebody, he may use a devotee's tongue to speak some inspiring words, and the devotee who is supposed to be inspired will get inspired. Even when we preach, when we inspire someone in bhakti, when we make them chant Hare Krishna, when we make them understand Bhagavatam, when we bring them to Krishna consciousness, we give them Kantimala, we give them books, you need to understand that it is Krishna who is doing it. I'm an instrument. I'm not doing it. Krishna wants to inspire this devotee. Being so kind and compassionate upon me, Krishna used me as an instrument in his will to connect this devotee to him, like a postman. Krishna says, go and call him. He's on the street. Okay, you will immediately go running to that person and call him. Krishna is calling. That's what a preacher does. Preacher, as a humble menial servant of Krishna, instrument in Krishna's plan, he just goes and calls people into Krishna's temple. If while doing so, if this instrument feels, I am so great, I brought him to Krishna consciousness. You didn't bring, Krishna brought. Krishna engaged you as a postman, that's your fortune. Krishna engaged you as an instrument in his will, that's your fortune. That's all. That's how devotees think. When Prabhupada was coming to the West, he said, Srimad Bhagavatam is traveling to the West. As a humble menial servant of Srimad Bhagavatam, I am accompanying Bhagavatam. I am accompanying Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is going to the West, I am just going. When a great person goes, some escort also goes with him, right? Like that. Bhagavatam, Krishna in the form of Bhagavatam is going, and I am just escorting Krishna. So this is the mood in which our acharyas like Srila Prabhupada have taught us. Any activity, the jiva who desires to do that, and the Lord who sanctions it, and the prakriti that facilitates. Okay. So there are three doers in any activity. And when you say jiva category, multiple jivas are there. Somebody made this garland, for example. Garland came out very well. But what did the garland maker do? Took a string and just passed that string through a needle through all these flowers. That's the garland maker's contribution. But did the garland maker make this flower? Why this flower is so beautiful? Why did the flower get this color? This is red, this is pink, this is yellow. So multicolors. So who has made the flowers? There are some farmers who are growing all these flowers in their gardens, and they also they can't create the seed. Seeds are provided by the nature. Different seeds will produce different flowers of different shapes and different colors. So garland maker has some contribution. The gardener who grew all these flowers, he has some contribution. Ultimately, the Lord has contributed for the manifestation of this garland ultimately. Because the Lord has created all these flowers with multiple colors. The Lord has empowered the earth element to induce different types of fragrance into different flowers. You want proof? We see Bhagavad Gita. Krishna said, Punyo gandha prithivyam cha tejas chasmi vibhavaso. Punyo gandha prithivyam cha. I am the pure fragrance of earth element. This flower has certain fragrance, some other flower has different fragrance, rose has different fragrance, mogra has a different fragrance, different color, different size, different shape, different number of petals. So where is this variegatedness coming from? From the earth element. And who has given that power to earth? Krishna. So ultimately, Krishna is the cause of the manifestation of this garland. And as far as immediate causes are concerned, multiple jivas are involved. You make a sabji nicely. You just know the recipe and you mixed the ingredients and worked on that sabji for half an hour or 15 minutes and the sabji manifested. But we did not grow the vegetables, we did not create the spices, we did not create the fire. Fire element is there. We did not even bring the vegetables from the market, someone else has brought it. Someone has brought it to the market. So like that, if you take any activity, there are hundreds of doers who claim credit for that activity. How can you claim all that? And ultimately, Krishna is the ultimate credit receiver. So when we think we are the doers, we will naturally think we are the enjoyers. This doership mentality and enjoyership mentality are connected to each other. When I think I am the doer, I naturally think I want to enjoy the results of what I have done. And bhakti, advancement in bhakti depends on how much we get rid of this doership mentality and enjoyership mentality. Krishna is the doer, I am not the doer. Kartaham iti manyate ahankara vimodhatma. Because of my ahankar, because of my ego, I think I am the doer. But we are not the doers. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvalokam maheshwaram. Krishna is the bhokta, Krishna is the enjoyer of everything that everybody is doing. but we think we are the enjoyers. So this, because of this doership mentality and enjoyership mentality, we are caught up in this world. But when we start identifying ourselves as instruments in Krishna's will, we will not be overwhelmed with these feelings of doership or identities of enjoyership. We'll get rid of all those feelings. Krishna is desiring this, let it happen. Of course, when we are acting, we cannot say Krishna is desiring this. I don't have nothing to do, right? Hey, you have to make garland tomorrow. Tomorrow festival is there. Oh, Krishna will do it. I don't have to do it. Right? Arjuna did not say Krishna already killed, right? I can see all these people, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, they are entering your mouths. They already killed. Why should I fight? I will not fight. No, nimittamatram bhavasavesasin. Yuddhasva vigatajvaraha. Give up your lethargy. Get up and fight. Krishna told Arjuna, isn't it? So we have a responsibility to act as instrument in Krishna's service, although accomplishment is not in our hands. Act as an instrument. Accomplishment depends on Krishna's will, Krishna's grace, Krishna's sanction. So with complete understanding that this service is happening by Krishna's sanction and Krishna's will, we should responsibly attend to that service and do our best with all God-given abilities, power, manpower, money, resources, talents, experience. We should utilize all this in Krishna's service responsibly, right? Sarvatmana mahigranami yatha manisham. As far as our intelligence goes, to the best of our ability, let us serve Krishna. Yes, we are instruments. He is accomplishing everything, but we should be responsible instruments, because we are not instruments like this. It has no independence. It has no free will, but we have. So Bhakti Yoga means to utilize our free will, to utilize our minute independence, to voluntarily engage ourselves in Krishna's service according to God-given capacity. That understanding that Krishna is the source of everything should be there, and our eagerness and enthusiasm to engage in Krishna's service also should be there with full capacity. So all our abilities, talents, and inspirations are the Lord's gifts. Prabhupada, he has worked so hard, spending sleepless nights to write all the books. While the whole world is sleeping, Prabhupada is writing books, translating Srimad Bhagavatam, keeping multiple Sanskrit commentaries in front, and distilling the essence of all the commentaries and presenting in his own way, according to the understanding of the modern world, adding his own reflections and examples, and presenting Bhaktivedanta purports. But Prabhupada said, if there is any credit for my writing work, all that credit should go to my Guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. If there is anything more credit, all that credit should go to my disciples. All that credit should go to my disciples who assisted me in this publication work. So Prabhupada has given all credit to his Guru and his disciples. He did not take anything for himself. I'm an instrument in my Guru's will, in Krishna's will. Make me dance, oh Lord, oh Guru, make me dance. So while a devotee responsibly, with great zeal, quote unquote, in a positive way, passion, in serving Krishna, so much determination in serving Krishna, the mood is transfer all the credits to Krishna. So this is the nature of a devotee, to act as instrument in Krishna's will. And different devotees will be able to accomplish different types of services. To different degrees they will be able to serve. The peacock cannot fly so high, except the peacock of Shiva's son, Kartikeya. His peacock can fly high, but not every peacock. It can at the max go on the boundary wall. And there are some sparrows and some other birds that can fly higher. Eagles can fly much higher. Vultures can fly so high. So different birds are given different capacities to fly into the sky, and the Lord has bestowed that capacity. But Similarly, a devotee also can glorify the Lord and serve the Lord according to the capacity given to him by Krishna. So we should not feel insecure or inferior, have develop inferiority complex or envy or jealousy when someone else is doing better service than us, more service than us. We will serve according to our ability. They will serve according to their ability. We should do our best. We may not be the best. Hanumanji can bring big boulders, and squirrel can only push some sand particles and some little pebbles for the construction of bridge. Ram is pleased with both of them. Sudama can only offer poha. The other Sudama can only offer garlands. Uh, and Vidura can offer banana peels. Duryodhan can offer chapan bhog. But who pleases Krishna more? It's not about ability. It's about mood. Krishna is more impressed with the attitude behind our service more than the magnitude of our service. Magnitude of service is important, but attitude is more important. Okay, so these are some thoughts about being instruments in Krishna's will. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Yes, bro.
Acting according to Krishna's plan.
What about?
I have a loud voice.
Yes.
So acting according to Krishna's plan. So when Bhishma was instructing Yudhisthira, as it's described in the first canto of Bhagavatam, he makes the point very clearly. You can't understand Krishna's plan. Prabhupada in the purport says, don't even bother to try. So for a lot of us who don't live in temples, we have a lot of things that are not directly related to Krishna and Prabhupada's desire to spread Krishna consciousness. We have to make decisions on how to act according to those things, according to Krishna's plan. Similarly, the Guru or Vaishnavas are not always available for us to make decisions. So how can we understand and act according to Krishna's plans in such circumstances?
Yes, Bhishmadev said, Nahi yasya karhichit rajan puman veda vidhitsitam yadvijignasa yayukta muhyanti kavayopihi. The verse that you are just quoting. So, in trying to understand Krishna's plans, even great philosophers and scholars also get bewildered, get confused. Nahi yasya karhichit rajan, you cannot understand Krishna's plans so easily. However, to some degree, we can understand Krishna's plan as it is communicated to us by a guru, by his representative. And when we align our mood and our actions in accordance with Guru's desire to serve Krishna, we are acting according to Krishna's plan, because we cannot completely understand Krishna's plans, completely understand Krishna's desires, or completely understand Krishna's tattva. That complete understanding is not possible even for Krishna in one sense. Although Krishna said in the 7th chapter, Asamshayam samagram mam yatha jnasyasi tat srunu. Asamshayam, undoubtedly, samagram, completely, you can understand. But Acharyas explained, no, you cannot completely understand Krishna. Don't take it literally. You understand Krishna as much as it is required for you to become Krishna conscious. A Rasagulla is dipped in sugar syrup. You take it out, it's filled with rasa, filled with sugar, filled with sweetness. You press it, you bite it, you squeeze it, only sweetness comes out. It's filled with sugar syrup. Although this rasgulla is filled with sugar syrup, but it does not have all the syrup in the bowl. There is more left. So we should be filled with Krishna consciousness, knowledge about Krishna. We should act according to whatever we do, whatever we say, whatever we think is in accordance with Krishna consciousness. So that much we should do, but there's much more than our capacity. So we can understand to some degree, and that also we understand by hearing from gurus, by studying the scriptures, by studying Bhaktivedanta purports. We understand to some degree. Now, as that is one level answer, but you also said sometimes gurus are not always accessible. Guru is not always accessible. Seniors are not always accessible. When you cannot ask Krishna directly, you can ask Guru, his representative. But Guru also is not accessible. How do I do? That's where our sincerity comes into picture. That's where our Shastric understanding comes into picture. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, all three. Guru is not accessible. Sadhus are accessible, right? Shastra is accessible, right? Shastra is there here. Problem is, we only keep it outside the hat in the pocket. We don't take it inside. Earlier, there is limited accessibility to books also. Uh, when we were studying in our initial days of ashram 14 years back, we had one library with couple of Bhagavatam sets. Whoever wants to take Bhagavatam, they have to borrow one volume. They have to read for a few weeks, and the librarian will tell me. I borrowed one book, 7th canto, I think. I read a few chapters. Still, some more chapters are pending. The librarian asked, "When are you returning the book?" Yes, for a while. I'll read. So I just increased the pace of my reading and returned the book to the next volume. But after a couple of years, somebody gifted me a Bhagavatam set. Okay, so I was using it. Limited accessibility, but more appetite, more accessibility. I will not say that. So accessibility depends on our eagerness. When we are eager, it becomes accessible to us. So now, what is accessibility to Guru? Guru gives teachings. Guru has set a mood. The more we hear spiritual master, the more we read Prabhupada's books, the more we absorb ourselves into the teachings of Shastras, the more our intelligence is refined, the more our intelligence is spiritualized. With that spiritualized intelligence, with more experience, we take certain decision that is very much in line with what Guru's expectation and Krishna's expectation. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayantiti. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I will give you the necessary intelligence to act appropriately. But for him to give the necessary intelligence, what should we do? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. When we do bhajatam, bhajan is our sadhana. When we do our sadhana sincerely, when we do our seva sincerely, when we do our swadhyaya sincerely, when we associate with devotees in the sangha sincerely, Krishna will give us the necessary intelligence to understand what is right and what is wrong. He will give us the understanding of his mood, his plan. So Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. When Guru is not accessible, Sadhu is accessible. When both are not accessible, Shastra is always accessible to us. So this triangle, we need to keep ourselves within this triangle. There's a triangle there, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. In between, we should be there. There is profuse access to knowledge, wisdom, direction, inspiration. Still, some very critical decision is there on the practical plane. You can wait for a while till they become accessible. Now they are busy traveling. After 10 days, they'll come back. Then you can ask, you can write a mail, you can send an SMS. So sometimes these are also there on the practical plane. But in principle, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, all three are there. As long as we have access to all three, our decision making and our actions will be appropriate. Further, as far as understanding Krishna's plan is concerned, I have another shloka, first canto, third chapter. Sutta Goswami says, Saveda dhatuhu padavim parasya duranta viryasya rathanga pani yo mayaya santataya anuvritya bhajeta tatpata saroja gandham. Saveda dhatuhu padavim parasya. Who can understand the glories of Krishna or the mood of Krishna? Yo amayaya, one who serves him without any reservations. Santataya, one who serves him without any interruptions, inconsistencies. Anuvritya, one who serves by following the footsteps of great souls favorably. By rendering unreserved, unmotivated, uninterrupted, favorable service to Krishna, we will understand Krishna's heart. Not completely, to some degree, as much as we are supposed to understand. As much as the rasmalai can hold milk. Rasmalai cannot hold all the milk in the universe. But rasmalai can hold that much milk that it has capacity. That's required. That's what it is. Rasmalai is called rasmalai because it holds ras. Right? So it cannot hold entire ras in the entire universe, but it can hold completely. Whatever it can hold, that much it should hold. If you squeeze all rasa from rasmalai and call it rasmalai, where is rasa here? Right? So, does it make sense to you? Yeah. Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, I have a question about when you talk about the Krishna's plan, right? We have to be in tune with the Krishna's plan. So, my mind might say that, oh, Krishna wants me to sing because I have a good voice, or Krishna wants me to give a lecture because I can speak well, or Krishna wants me to do the service on the altar because I can do well. But my mind also might tell that Krishna doesn't want me to do the menial service like mopping or cleaning. So, I mean, this is like a Maya also acting on me. So how do I know actually what
Yeah,
Krishna
therefore
wants?
we should not listen to the mind. Mind may tell us, don't do menial services. But when was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu impressed with Prataprutra Maharaj? Prataprutra Maharaj arranged for accommodations. Of all the 200 or 300 devotees who are coming from Jagannath Puri for 4 months, he arranged prasadam for them. He arranged accommodation for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Kashi Mishra's house is arranged by Prataprutra Maharaj. But Mahaprabhu says, I will not meet him. He's a Vishayi, I will not meet him. But when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Prataprutra Maharaj brooming in front of Jagannath ji, Mahaprabhu became so impressed, and Kaviraj Goswami says that 3-4 times. So mind will tell us, don't do menial services. You should, whatever you do, that should have public attention. You should lead kirtans. You should give lectures. You should do worship, not worship behind curtains, worship in front of everybody. When curtains are open, you offer Maharati. 1,000 people are. Mind will tell us. So, our seniors taught us this principle. 3 services are very much attention attracting. When you are asked to do those services, you can do. When somebody comes to you with a chance, can you please do these services, then you can do. That also with some hesitation or whatever. But menial services, you can always volunteer. You know what are the 3? One is leading kirtans. Second is giving lectures. Third is worshipping the deities. These 3 are very attention attracting. Everybody's attention is on the deity. Right next to the deity, you are there when you are doing Maharati. Deity service is brooming, mopping also. Go to the puja paraphernalia room and then clean the floor. That is also deity service only. But this has some attention attraction. So if somebody is offered, can you please do Maharati, then you can do. Can you please sing? You can do. Can you please sing means not in chorus, mic, right? So when somebody asks you, can you give a lecture? Can you give a talk? You might accept. So at least lecture has some preparation, some meditation, some knowledge required. But Kirtan, once you learn it, you can launch it anytime. Arati, simple. Once you learn it, it's like you can do anytime. So menial services like cleaning, mopping, subjugating, prasadam serving, uh, all these kinds of simple services, they may not require so much of specialization or expertise. Anybody can do. Such kind of services sometimes we need to take up. When a manager is very busy, he may not be able to do it, but the inclination is there to do. So mind may tell us so many things, but we need to see what the Shastra is saying, what the sadhus are saying, what Guru is expecting, what Krishna is expecting ultimately. Does it make sense? Yes, Mataji.
I've always had this question, Prabhuji, that Abhimanyu was also an instrument of Krishna. Now, why did Krishna not protect him? Why did he allow him to die like that?
We have certain conception of protection, but Krishna has a different conception of protection. When Ashwathama released the Brahmastra to kill Parikshit Maharaj within the womb of Mother Uttara, Krishna protected him. At that time, Parikshit was nobody. The only tag he had was he is a descendant of Pandavas. So Krishna protected. But when Shamika Rishi's son Shringi cursed Parikshit Maharaj to die within 7 days, Krishna did not quote unquote protect him. Why? By the time Parikshit Maharaj is a very accomplished warrior king who could subdue even Kali. Although Kali Yuga season has come, he is not allowing Kali to flourish. It's like monsoon has come, but you are not allowing the clouds to rain. It's like that. Can anyone stop the clouds to rain in monsoon? But Parikshit had the ability to stop the Kali clouds to rain all the dharma. But still, Krishna allowed Parikshit to die within 7 days. Why? To give Bhagavatam to all of us. And after dying, where did Parikshit go? To the spiritual world. Where will Abhimanyu go? Where will Chitraketu Maharaj go? Where will Vritrasur go? Where will Dadiji go? So apparently, from a material perspective, the Lord may do some injustice or the Lord may not protect a devotee. But protection is protection of consciousness, not protection from some material calamity or protection of material body. Material body may not be protected, but spiritual consciousness is protected. That's the ultimate protection that the Lord gives. The Lord, now you say Abhimanyu is not protected. But in the 6th canto of Bhagavatam, when Vritrasur was attacking the demons, Lord Vishnu told the Devatas, you go and get the bones of Dadhichi and manufacture a thunderbolt weapon, Vajrayudha, and kill Vritrasur with that Vajrayudha. In this one instruction, the Lord has given a plan to kill 2 devotees. He himself is saying, go and kill Dadhichi, get his bones. Go and kill Vritrasur with those bones. Vritrasur is a pure devotee of the Lord Sankarshan. Dadhichi is a great devotee. 2 pure devotees. The Lord is planning for the death or the killing of 2 devotees to protect mixed devotees, demons, and the devatas. Devatas are mixed devotees. Vritrasur and Dadhichi were pure devotees. The Lord is planning for the death of pure devotees to assist mixed devotees. Whom exactly is he favoring? We need to understand, after the death of Dadhichi and Vritrasur, where did they go? The Lord is unable to tolerate separation from these devotees. He thought, let me call my devotees back home, back to Godhead. Let me call my devotees to spiritual world. I want them in Vaikuntha, not in this material world. So after death, where does a devotee go? That matters more. Narada Muni in his past life, he was the son of a maid servant. And that maid servant, she died because of a snake bite. And after bite, where did she go? Before snake bite, what did she do? For 4 months, she rendered service, menial service to Bhaktivedanta sages. How much purification? If Narada Muni, a little boy, 5-year-old child, son of maid servant, by assisting the Bhaktivedantas, if he could come to Prema stage by doing little service, how much advancement that her mother must have made. Mother does more service than the child, right? Naturally. He's a 5-year-old boy. What service he can do? But he did some service and he came to Prema stage. But his mother must have done more service. So after death, where will she go? Definitely she must have got another opportunity to continue her bhakti in a different situation by coming out of this unpleasant situation of working in so many places. Or she must have gone to the spiritual world also. So we need to understand that the Lord will never do injustice to his devotee. Apparently, from a material perspective, a devotee may face some reversals, but the Lord will never do any injustice to a devotee. Evening we'll discuss that. Maybe in New Jersey. Tolerance and reversals. Does it answer your question, Madhuri?
Not related to this topic, but I always have this question. What is the difference between Bhakti Yoga and Buddhi Yoga?
Okay. Bhakti Yoga is the main essential conclusive lesson or teaching of Krishna. When they say Buddhi Yoga, it's like engaging your Buddhi in your connection with Krishna. That buddhi yoga can take the form of nishkama karma yoga or bhakti yoga. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks, the first time he speaks this buddhi yoga. So in that context, Vishnu Thakur writes, this buddhi yoga refers to nishkama karma yoga here. Means work with detachment. When you have intelligence, you will be detached. When you don't have intelligence, you look forward for enjoyment. He spoke this buddhi yoga right after sakama karma. When the second chapter is transiting from sakama karma to nishkama karma, buddhi yoga comes into picture. That is karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So that buddhi yoga refers to nishkama karma yoga in the second chapter. But in the 10th chapter, dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamapayantiti, that buddhi yoga refers to bhakti yoga. Same. But here it's buddhi yoga is karma yoga. Buddhi basically is intelligence. Buddhi yoga is intelligence. All these terminologies will not have same meanings in all contexts. Right? All the meanings of the Sanskrit words are not eternally frozen in a dictionary. So they take on different meanings according to different contexts. Some contexts, Atma is soul. Sometimes Atma is body. Sometimes Atma is Paramatma. Sometimes Atma is universe. Sometimes Atma is mind. Uddharet Atman Atmanam Natmanam Avasadayet. Atmana Atmanam means elevate yourself by engaging your mind. One Atma is mind, one Atma is the self. So this buddhi, ultimately the greatest or ultimate meaning of that buddhi is bhakti only. Buddhi basically is intelligence. Basic meaning is intelligence, right? But in the Dadami Buddhi Yogam, that Buddhi Yoga is basically bhakti, devotion. But in some other context, buddhi is to engage your intelligence to work in a detached spirit and not to get attached to the results.
Does that mean that in this context of does that mean that we are attached to the work and not the result of Buddhi Yoga?
I didn't get.
In Buddhi Yoga, this context, in Nishkam Karma Yoga context.
Second chapter.
Yeah. So Buddhi Yoga means we are attached to the work but not the result of the work. That is Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? And Buddhi Yoga,
Okay.
Bhakti Yoga means we are not attached to the work and not the results of the work.
We are attached to pleasing Krishna.
Yes.
Okay, but in that is Bhakti Yoga. And in Nishkama Karma Yoga, there is some excitement to do that work. Not when we are cultivating detachment. See, Nishkama Karma Yoga, there is preliminary stage and there is an advanced stage. In advanced state, Nishkama Karma Yogi has complete realized mature knowledge and detachment. In the beginning stage, he is cultivating knowledge and cultivating detachment.
So that is
Buddhi Yoga, in that context, it can refer to any of this, in any of these stages of Nishkam Karma Yoga, depending on how much the Buddhi is evolved. There's an evolution. Which stage are we referring to also matters. Anyways, there Buddhi Yoga refers to you work intelligently, don't get distracted by, in that context, Krishna also says, right? Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistaraigunyo Bhavarjuna. Then he also says, he says, what is it shloka? Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya apahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhir samadhav na vidhiyati. Right? So bhoga aishwarya, the mind is, the intelligence is attracted by bhoga and aishwarya, wealth and opulence, enjoyment and opulence. So for them, vyavasayatmika buddhi will not manifest. Their vyavasayatmika buddhi is focused intelligence. Focus on yoga. Don't just go here and there. Makes sense? So buddhi is a neutral word. It takes on different meanings. It could be vyavasayatmika buddhi. In that context, it is nishkama karma yoga. That is very clear. But if you just expand it, if you see the overall bigger section, there is vyavasayatmika buddhi also spoken there. Buddhi focused on the yoga. Buddhi not getting distracted by raga, dvesha, or distracted by aishwarya, bhoga. Buddhi that is focused on the performance of yoga. Makes sense?
Buddhi gets according to its evolved.
Buddhi takes on different meanings according to the context. In simple terms, karma. Sometimes karma is work, action. Sometimes karma is reaction. Sometimes karma is prescribed action. Sometimes karma is fruitive action. Sometimes karma is the whole chain of actions and reactions. I'm entangled in karma. What does it mean? Entangled in karma means action or reaction. Entangled in the whole chain of actions and reactions. Karmanyeva adhikaraste means you have responsibility or adhikar on karma, means action, not reaction. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Okay, thank you. Thank you. You can choose who will ask the question. I don't know. Yes, Mataji.
That you in such a modern and affectionate way explain to us the simple truth, the essence of serving together at the congregation in the temple, and what type of attitude we must have. And don't forget the essence of any type of service we do is to develop affection and love for Krishna and be pleasing in not disturbing without attitude and service to work around us. Very often in the temple we forget this simple truth and we become very eager to think or prefer different type of services for attention like you described. And some people who doesn't have talent or ability feel very inferior or feel not good enough to do any type of service. So by explaining that such a nice and sweet way, just harmonizing our minds and harmonizing our way how we think. So much.
Thank you, Mataji. Need your blessings so that I just don't speak this but also imbibe the spirit. Hare Hare. Hare. It's 1:35. I think we spoke for more than 2 hours.
Prabhu, she has a question.
Yes, Mataji.
Maybe we lecture, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I have one question. You said, that should be different between care and control. How do we know that we are controlling or caring? And how can we make others understand that this care, not control?
Good question. Very practical and relevant question. Care is in Sattva Guna. Control is in Rajoguna. When you are caring for someone, there should be some control also. But that control should be controlled by care. The control should be that control should be under the control of that control should be under the control of care. If control takes the control and care is sidelined, then it's Rajoguna. Parents care for the kids. And the kids are just going here and there. Hey, don't go there, come here. It's a control. There is a restriction. The mother or the father are not allowing the child to just go here and there, and they're controlling the child out of their concern, their care for the child. So, our ultimate aim in a spiritual community is to care for the devotees. So, while caring for the devotees, you may control them to some degree, you may restrict certain activities out of concern for them only. Now, when you're traveling in a flight, the air hostess will come and say, put seat belt. There may be turbulence, right? If you don't put it, hey, you have to put. Can you please put? The please also comes in a little forceful way. We are not putting, right? But there's a care involved there. There's a reason behind that control. So when we cultivate mode of goodness and ultimately bhakti unto Krishna, the control that we do is also a part of care. But when we are overwhelmed by our position, that gives us some kind of controllership, where we think care is also a part of my control. Then we are basically deviating from that consciousness, a desired consciousness. In this material, in this world, there are 2 categories of souls. Prabhupada writes in the 3rd canto, 5th chapter, last purports. He says there are 2 types of living entities. One set is completely dedicated to serving the Lord. Other set is they want to control, they want to lord over the material nature. So these are this is contaminated consciousness and this is pure consciousness. But the third category is there is a mixed consciousness. They want to serve the Lord also, they want to control the material nature also, they want to lord over the material nature also. Such people are made as managers of the material world. They are the devatas. Many of them. Some devatas are pure devotees also, but many devatas are more into control. That control as a service to the Lord. Right? So sometimes control is a very, very important element to serve a community. But that control should always be subordinate to the caring mentality. And we need to keep on questioning our purpose. Also, why am I controlling? Why am I imposing this restriction? Why am I legislating this rule, this policy, this protocol? Is it out of my intention to care for the devotees, or just want to restrict them, show my authority, boss over them? That we need to keep on questioning ourselves, and we need to what to say, reflect, introspect, and pray, Krishna, whatever rules and regulations that I'm imposing, or protocols or policies that I'm setting, that I should be doing in the mode of serving these Vaishnavas, not to control them. I don't want to control any of your Vaishnavas. They are under your care. How can I control them? How can we control someone who is under the care of Krishna? Not possible. But as a part of my service, I'm doing this. You please help me, guide me. You should always take guidance from experienced senior devotees. Does it answer your question? Okay, we'll conclude. Sorry. So I'm also controlled by time. I have another session.